Yo, what's up, everyone? It's your boy Jack OATz to go. You either know or you don't. Thank you guys so much for tuning in like you always do. You guys are goats. Thank you for supporting your boy through all the crazy crackhead theories. Today, I want to do Jack Clover, just talking about how I would personally write the Spirit Guardians going from here on out. So, at this point, let's look at what we get, right? We have Gaja putting all of this life force into this final blast, and that dealt a good amount of damage to Magicula and possibly even Vonica. And then we have their Heart Queen, who is now a devil, and it doesn't look like she's going to be able to get turned back. Is it possible? Maybe. I would say the only way it's coming back, it's not going to be through Gordon. I don't think it's impossible that it could be through Gordon. I would rather it not be, because that's too much for me. For me, what makes sense is if she is brought back, it has to be via Asta's Demon Destroyer Sword. That's the only way I would personally accept it. But so we have Gaja, the best Spirit Guardian, hands down, no debate. We'll say down for the count. There's a big discrepancy on whether or not he's dead. There's no Grimoire in the picture. It does seem like it's gone. He's like withering away. He's dying. All right, we'll say that. So Gaja, the strongest, is dying, and then we have Lolo, who is now pretty much a lost cause. So the Heart Kingdom has been successfully dismantled, if you ask me. However, we do still have Spirit Guardians who have not fulfilled a bigger purpose at all. And the last time we saw these guys, they all got packed up by disciples that were at, I think they were mobbing at 50%, each one of them, which is a high amount of demonic mana, sure, but they still got packed up by disciples and not actual Triad members. So it's hard for a lot of us to feel like they're gonna hold any actual weight in this war arc. Sure, everyone's leveled up within this small amount of time that they were given before invading the Spade. However, from getting off-screened, each of them, it doesn't seem like their rate of growth is going to be that great, like we see with Knights from the Clover Kingdom. So here's what I'm thinking. Gaja just put his life on the line in the most honorable way. One of the things that stuck out to me was that when Lolo impaled him, he immobilizes her, and he starts heading towards Magicula for this big final blow that he's going to put his life force into. And he says something very cool. He says, I'm not going to die from this wound. And at first in the spoilers, when he said that, I was thinking like, okay, so you're saying that wound cannot kill you? Like, that wound's definitely going to kill you, my guy. Like, all your important organs are in there. Like, there's no way you're not going to die. But then, in context, he's not saying that he cannot die from that wound, as in that wound is not great enough to inflict any mortal harm to him. But he's saying that it's more so that he will not allow that wound to kill him. And he emphasizes that Lolo was forced into this demonic state to become something she never was, something that hurts and destroys, where Lolo, as Undine put it not too long ago, was so pure that she was unable to learn any attack spells. And that was one of Lolo's greatest weaknesses in her own eyes. And which is why she, Undine never brought up the Saint Stage thing to her, because that would mean that she has to fight. And that's why when we see Asta, Mimosa, Noelle, and Finral go to the Heart, it wasn't Lolo fighting, it was Undine fighting for her. Like I said, Undine's very pure, and so Gaja points this out, and so his whole mentality is, if he lets this go on any longer and he does die from that wound, then Lolo does become this thing that she wasn't, a killer. And he could not let his life fall by the hands of Lolo, because that's not who she is. So Instead, he puts his life force, like I've said, into that final attack, and hits Magicula, does a good amount of damage, seems to expose a core that Noelle sees. Gaja might have communicated to her before he goes into the attack. But he also has these extremely high standards of what a spirit guardian should be able to do. He even saved the Lobo's life back when Vonica and Magicula attacked them, and he was getting down on himself. He thought he was not worthy of holding that title and protecting the people and the queen. And Lolo had to bring him back. And it's like, dude, you protected me and everyone else. Like, you did your job, but his expectations are so high. So he forced himself to get even stronger. And unfortunately, it still wasn't enough to prevent the ultimate fate that befell Lolo, which is very sad. So he puts his life on the line for that. And then with those high standards, you have to wonder, what does he think about his comrades, his other spirit guardians? Because, like I said, all those guys got low diffed by the 50% disciples. There were no scratch marks on any of those devil users. And then Gaja was the only one who had an easy time with his disciple. He off-screened his own disciple. And so I have to wonder, how far were they pushing themselves, because Gaja had gone just leaps and bounds above all the rest of them. And so this is where the Jack Clover thing starts. For me, the Heart Kingdom has been poorly represented, to be completely honest. I made this huge thread just kind of trashing all the kingdoms in Black Clover, except for the Clover Kingdom. Partly in a joking way, and then partly it's kind of true. So the premise of it is if we look at all the kingdoms and then compare it to Clover, they don't match. They just straight up fall short. You have the Clover Kingdom, and everyone else saw what the Clover was doing. They were producing monsters like Asier, Julius, all these people, and they got so scared they had to switch up. They had to find out other ways to get more powerful. We look at the Diamond Kingdom. They had to resort to this almost hidden miss style of growing strong mages by deadening their psyche and their emotions so that they become ruthless killers, and then also by experimenting on them, giving them magic stones to amp their mana, and then also splicing those grimoires together so that they have double attributes like Mars does, right? So they did all of this and still get packed up by the Clover Kingdom. Packed up a few of them. Asta, of course, his power is hacks, but still packed up both of their aces in the hole, which was Ledros and Mars. And then we have William, who soloed the entire force. So the diamond fell short even after all of that was done. Then we look at the Spade, who I like to refer to the anime because they actually went in depth with the whole takeover, where the manga did not. And in the anime, it shows that their best guardians guarding the queen and the king are doing basic fireball spells. They had no transportation magic. They were almost utterly hopeless to defeat someone like, let's say, Asier goes in there. Asier would have taken over that entire place. The power scaling was so crazy on this land. And then I always point out how Ralph's father killed his pursuers and himself by slicing off a part of this cliff, and they all fell to their death. That is unheard of in current Black Clover, where we have Asta and Ledros had their battle mostly in the sky, and they both fell, and they both survived, and we can't say that about these Spade Knights. So the Spade turned to devils and are still getting packed up. Disciples were getting packed up, and now they are posing an actual threat to the Triad that wields supreme devils with very great power. So the Spade still doesn't quite catch up to the Clover Kingdom at base, not using too much of other resources. And then you have the Heart Kingdom, who literally Their whole thing was to just hide out and avoid problems and staying neutral. That was the way they were introduced, and we see that staying hidden has not provided them with enough strength to defend themselves, because this is what we get. So this is why I'm saying that Lolo, she was the strongest one. Was she an attacker? No. But she was the strongest one. Next in line is Gaja as the strongest attacker. After them, there's nothing stopping from anyone from decimating the Heart Kingdom. So how I would carry out the rest of this is I would say go big or go home. Right? The Spirit Guardians did not uphold their oath to protect their people, their land, their queen, and their comrade. They did not hold up that oath. So for me, what I would like to see, how I would write this, is that these guys find out Gaj is dead, Lolo is unretrievable. Their kingdom, it's going to be no more. So I would like to see them do some like Captain Planet, just combining their natural power to blast away like some of these bigger threats. I'm not saying they should just like one-shot Magicula or anything like that, but there should be something that they can do together that will foreshadow what these Spirit Wielders can do with Salamander, Belle, and Undine, and whoever or whatever has the Earth Spirit. To foreshadow what they can do at their highest potential. And we kind of go over this when I talk about Cornelius Agrippa's views on elementals and all that. But if they can combine their power and reach this sort of divine nature, because all of them should know the pseudo-ultimate magic that they've been training. So reaching this more divine stage should be more achievable using the actual surroundings via mana method. So I kind of point out how Magicula's Decaying World seems like the dark side of runes. And the reason why Gaj's attack seems to go through is, of course, one, the life force that he puts into it. I think that was very literal that he put his life force into that attack. And then two, that it was natural magic. I do think at some point nature is going to be the used at a high level, of course, not just any nature attack, but used at a very high level, as we see with Gaja, can do some harm or create openings, at least, to these devils, whether that be supreme, high ranking, and we already know mid ranking just needs a lot of magic, so it doesn't even matter what type of magic. But I would like to see some Captain Planet stuff. I'd like them to muster up all their strength and put their lives on the line to ultimately help the war against this advent. In what way, like I said, I'm not sure, because again, I don't want them to one-shot Magicula. I don't want anything that huge to happen, but I do want whatever they do to not be in vain, and for it to be significant enough for us as readers to be like, damn, those guys actually were solid as characters. We didn't know them that well, but they did uphold their end of the bargain. They did what they were supposed to do as knights, defending their people and doing what they could with their queen. And who knows? Like let's go crazy with it, right? Like let's say they do this whole like Super Saiyan God ritual where they're all just like surrounding Lolo as a devil, and they use all of their life force in natural magic to bring her back to what she was. As a purification type thing. Because remember, Charlotte uses the runes to purify herself to an extent, right? So what if because remember, I think his name is Patrov, the plant guy. He was right there. He's like, damn, Charlotte's actually doing pretty good with these runes. She's a genius. So like they're watching her, and it'd be dumb to not take notes on what she was doing, because like I said, she literally took her curse, weakened it, and made it her own strength to make an anti-curse briar. Like, that's insane. But that has elements of purification, and I had a whole video on this. I have threads on this talking about the feat that Charlotte accomplished with that, because runes actually do have some divine and purifying concepts to them. So for her to use it like that and then use it as her strength, she just shot that shit right off into space. So if they can do this like whole Super Saiyan God thing, use their runic magic with their life force possibly to bring her back, that would bring the Spirit Guardians into just a bigger conversation as characters. Maybe not, on the power scale thing, but just as people. Gaja was a very solid character. He was solid in and out, and we didn't actually know him all that well. He just did a lot of cool stuff. Very quiet, stoic sort of guy. But as things started progressing, of course, we saw that he's more than just a stone face. So those are just some things I'd like to see. That's how I'd write him. I would definitely like to see the rest of the Spirit Guardians go. I don't see them contributing anything else other than what I was just stating. So that's whether that be also killing Lolo themselves, where Gaja couldn't do it. They because I'm thinking about it like this: Gaja did all the heavy lifting, right? And the one thing he cannot do, the one thing he couldn't muster up the strength to do, was kill Lolo. So I would say the burden is at least on them as a group to do what Gaja could not do, which was kill her. And if that came from the Spirit Guardians themselves, that would complete this chaotic masterpiece that Magicula has painted since Ossier. So that's where I'm going with it, honestly. That's what I would like to see. That's how I would write it going forward. Like I said, I really don't see the Spirit Guardians doing very much in this assault against the Spade. And I do think they are doomed to die. And that is also my own personal theory, where I feel as though after this arc, the Clover, the underside of Clover, are going to show its face and take over the rest of this land. So with the Heart Kingdom being open, I can see the underside of the Clover Kingdom wanting to expand into the Heart Kingdom, into some of the Diamond Kingdom, and then even the Spade once they're done with this. Because, like I said, they even have chess pieces to do things like this. Being the Prince of the Spade Kingdom. Noel being able to harbor Undine, and also able to pull off similar feats with helping set up that monozone around one of the claimed towns of the Spade. It's looking like they could do that just with the people that they have and as a means to an end. So whichever way that comes down, I do kind of see the Clover looking to expand, and the Clover revealing a much uglier side of itself eventually. But that's how I'd write the Spirit Guardians. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, how you would personally write them going forward. I just think the Spirit Guardians have not been utilized very well. They don't really have a solid place in the story to me anymore, especially now that Gaja is more than likely gone, and Lolo seems to be irretrievable. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Hit me up on Twitter if you feel the need to. You guys know where to find me. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay out the way. This is my Jack Goes to Go. You either know or you don't.